start this haul with a little background story. Before I joined the Navy, I would say I had less than 100 books in my personal collection. When I left for the Navy, I kept 3. The 3 books that I kept were my paperback copy of Water for Elephants, Bart Simpson's Guide to Life, and a book called Redeeming Love, which is a Christian fiction book. I kept those 3 books and sold every single other book I owned to one of my grandmother's friends for $50. I think I had probably around 50 books in my collection, and over the past 4 or 5 years, I've started to really get back into collecting my books again, with this year being the year that I've purchased the most books. With that being said, I have a book haul today, but it's not a brand new book haul, so I didn't go to a bookstore for these books. I went to 2 separate libraries and a Goodwill for these books. So they're secondhand books, perfectly fine. Again, 2 library sales, 1 Goodwill, and I purchased quite a few books. So I'm going to start with books that I've already read. Like I said, I sold all but 3 of my books when I joined the Navy. So I purchased 4 books that I've already read today. It's a series, and I didn't purchase it because I would say I currently love this series. I purchased it because of the nostalgia factor. So at the first library that I went to, I found in hardcover three of the Twilight books. Like I said, I wouldn't say that I, as an almost 30-year-old woman, love these books today, but I'd like to have them in case my children decide one day they'd like to read them. I like to borrow my books out to people. Lend, it's called lend. I like to lend my books to people. So I want to have like an all-encompassing collection. Also, I'm a library student, so library school student, so yeah, we don't hate on these books. But because I was only able to find these 3 in hardcover, they did have the whole series, but New Moon was in paperback, and I was like, well, I don't want the paperback. I'd rather get a hardcover so that the whole series matches. My mother-in-law was with me, and she told me that at another library that we go to that has a used bookstore, she had seen a copy of New Moon, and she thought it was like 25 cents. And so I was like, well, we can go there after we're done here. And we did, and she was right. It was 25 cents for the hardcover. So today I purchased the entire Twilight series for probably less than $1, which is a win in my book. The first library that we went to was a bag sale. So it was $5 for a brown grocery bag, paper bag full of books. So I spent $5 there. I spent $3 at the other library, and I spent like $5 at Goodwill. So like $13 for all of these books total. But these books probably cost me less than $1 for the whole series. So I'm happy about that. Now that we've gone through the books that I've already read, I'm going to go through the books that I purchased at Goodwill, since that was technically our first stop. So I have here my little Goodwill bag. I purchased 4 books. 3 of them are paperback and 1 of them is a hardcover. So the hardcover that I purchased is another Stephenie Meyer book. It is The Chemist. I have not read it. I bought it because I loved The Host when I read it. I think that that's like an excellent, excellent fiction novel. So I'm hoping that this will also be an excellent, excellent fiction novel. I thought that after having read Twilight and then read The Host, that Stephenie Meyer's writing really grew. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy this one. If not, it was $1.99 or like $1, so not a huge deal. I can put it in the little free library or donate it back to a library when I'm done if I don't like it. You remember like way back long time ago when I was making videos like pretty consistently, I talked about books that were the bane of my existence. I decided to purchase a book that I consider the bane of my existence, just to see if I still think that it's the bane of my existence. No, it is not A Tale of Two Cities. It's Wuthering Heights. I found a nice Penguin Classic copy of Wuthering Heights at Goodwill, and I was like, you know what? We'll try it again. See if I hate Heathcliff and Kathy and whatever Kathy's husband's name is, as much as I did the first time I tried to read this book. The next two books that I have are also paperback. Duh. They're both thriller? No. One's a thriller, one I would say is like literary fiction. So first I'll talk about the one that I would consider a thriller. It's called Girl in Snow. It is about a high school girl who is found murdered. She's from Colorado. Everybody is like affected by this death. Basically, they're trying to figure out the truth of why this girl was murdered. And I'm really, really excited to read it. It's a debut novel and I think that it's gonna be really good. We'll see. Paula Hawkins is on the front, but they actually have on the back a synopsis, so that's exciting for me. The next book that I have here is called Lucky Boy. It is about a young undocumented Mexican woman who is in Berkeley, California. She is detained and has to place her son in the care of an Indian American woman who can't have children but really wants to. So it's all about the relationship that this boy builds with, I guess, both women. I haven't read it. It sounded so good. I love the cover. I thought that all of this was like yuck from the store, but it's part of the cover. I thought that it was beautiful. It's what drew me in, besides the title, Lucky Boy. I thought that it was gonna be a thriller, but reading the back, it sounds like it's something that I'm gonna be really affected by, and I can't wait to read it. And then we went to the $5 bag sale library. I'm gonna go over what I picked up for my kids. It's just a little stack of like Sesame Street little golden books. I had extra space. I saw these. I collect these for my kids. Just shoved them in my bag. And yeah, most of them are Sesame Street. There's a Mickey one. Superheroes, dinosaurs. I think that my sons will like these. We read before bed, so this is just more for our collection. All right, then I found Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies at this library, and I have Little Vampire Women, so I wanted to get this one to go with Little Vampire Women, but also my best friend's mom like really recommended this book to me, so I picked it up. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how it differs from Pride and Prejudice. I think it's gonna be fun. I saw this at Goodwill and I didn't pick it up, but I was thinking about it the whole time I was book shopping. It's called Prep. It's by Curtis Sittenfeld, and it's about a girl who leaves the Midwest to go to a boarding school in Massachusetts, so it follows her through her 4 years of high school. It's supposed to talk about like the pains and thrills of adolescence. I don't think that it's YA. It probably, like, just because in typical like YA fashion, it's not spaced out the way that I would think it is going to be or should be. But this catches my eye. Angst is everywhere between the pages, but so too is wit, wisdom, and empathy. So I want to see what this girl's high school career was like in comparison to my plain Jane Northwestern Pennsylvania public school life was like. So I got this because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I think it's gonna be fun. Next book I did not actually pick up for myself. My mother-in-law grabbed it for her bag, and then when we got back to her house, she realized that she already had a copy of this book in her collection and I do not, so she gave it to me, and it is Lisa Gardner, Love You More. It's a thriller. It's part of her Detective Warren series. I have a couple of books that go in this series. I don't have all of them, but I have read on her website you don't need to read these books in order. It's beneficial if you do, but you don't have to because they could each serve as a standalone. But this one is about a guy who's dead on his kitchen floor, and his wife is the state police trooper who's claiming that she shot him in self-defense and has bruises, like to showcase that she was defending herself. So I think that it's gonna be really interesting. It also involves a young child of the state trooper and the dead husband. She's apparently 6 and missing. So this should be a good one, an interesting one. I don't know, is it like crime, thriller? I'm not sure. It'll probably go on my thriller shelf right here behind me with Lisa Gardner's other books that I have. All right, now, this next part of this haul is what I'm going to call the Book of the Month books that I found at the public library that was having the bag sale. I found so many Book of the Month books, and I'm really, really, really excited about it because Book of the Month costs $15 a month. It's like $14.99, And add-on books are an extra $10 if you choose to purchase them, which most of the time I do pick at least one add-on book. I have picked 2 add-on books in the past. Sometimes I don't do that, but a lot of times I can't choose, so I have to pick more than one. But at the library, I found so many books that were from before I subscribed to Book of the Month, but are thrillers that I am definitely interested in reading. Now's that part of this haul. Okay, first I found A Mad Desire to Dance by Eli Wiesel. I can't tell what year this book is from, but it's a historical fiction. It doesn't say when they selected this book for Book of the Month, but it does say a Book of the Month Club main selection. So this is like the first one that I found. I'm excited about. I don't have a lot of historical fiction, but I do love this man's writing. It's so, it makes me cry. So I'm very, very, very happy to have found this. Got dogs over here crying, cats over here rubbing up on my shit. It's been a day. All right, so I bought a hardcover copy of Water for Elephants because I love this book. I'm going to give the paperback copy to my little sister when she comes to visit me next, because this is one of my very favorite books and I wanted to have it in hardcover so that I can keep reading it and reading it and reading it without worrying about the pages getting all messed up from me reading it and reading it and reading it. That was not a Book of the Month. That was just hidden in here in my stack because it's a hardcover. I think it's just gonna be easier if I do this. Okay, the last 5 books I have for this haul are Book of the Month. So first up, we have Perfect Little World, which is about a girl who has just graduated from high school. She's pregnant with her art teacher's child and completely on her own. So I'm very excited to read this. I was a member of Book of the Month when this one came out. Which book did I pick then? Let me look. I'm gonna figure it out. February 2017. I need to look to see what my book purchase was that month. I don't know if you can actually do this. I'm gonna try. Oh, yes, you can. Shoot. Oh, I wasn't a member in February. I joined in September of 2017, which is why I don't remember this book being there. But I don't know how I would classify this book via genre. Oh, but he won the Shirley Jackson Award. That's interesting. Gonna be fun. Emma and the Night by Wendy Walker was a September 2017 book. I think I skipped that month. So yeah, I skipped that month. I don't know why I didn't pick this. So this is about a 15-year-old girl named Cass and her 17-year-old sister Emma who disappear. Their family car is found deserted, but no one can really come up with what happened to them. 3 years later, a girl returns back home. It's Cass. She's not with her sister. She was apparently kidnapped and isolated on a mysterious island, and Emma was there with her. So a forensic psychologist shows up and she's thinking this through. Something doesn't add up about these 2 girls being missing. Basically, it sounds so interesting. It's a thriller that I'm definitely going to enjoy. Book of the Month always has the best books that I would never purchase at the store for myself, and then I read them and I'm like, oh my god, that book was so good. This one's gonna be one of those. I know it. All right, next we have a psychological thriller called The Fall Guy by James Lasden. This was an October 2016 book. I was not a member then. It is a moral tale with gripping suspense about a man named Charlie who's a wealthy banker who invites his cousin Matthew to visit him and his wife. This is gripping suspense, probing questions of guilt. I can't wait to read this. Next was a February 2017 again book called The Possessions by Sarah Flannery Murphy. It's about these girls who allow grieving clients to, it's about a girl who works for a service that allows grieving clients to reconnect to their dead loved one. Basically, Edie and her fellow workers are known as bodies. They wear the discarded belongings of dead and swallow pills to summon their spirits. It sounds really creepy, and wait to look into this one. Also, the pink just compelled me to pick it up. The last Book of the Month book that I have is from September 2017. I don't know why I skipped that month, but I'm kind of glad I did, because I know that if I wouldn't have skipped that month, I would have picked this one. Sing Unburied Sing which I'm very excited to read. I will probably buddy read this with my mother-in-law. You probably have heard about it. It's like really popular. Be excited, really pretty underneath there too. This was a September 2017 book, and this would have been my selection had I not skipped that month. So that was it for my $5 bag sale. The last few books that I have made up the $3 that I spent at the other library bookstore. Two of them I purchased just because I didn't have change on me to pay the $2.50 that the books that I had would have cost. So I just was like, oh, these sound kind of interesting, kind of like maybe guilty pleasure books to add to my collection. The one is called The Bachelorette Party. It was 25 cents. It's about a girl who is left behind at the altar by her soap star fiance in Los Angeles. She's a high school teacher and she wants something to do with love and romance. So yeah, like a contemporary, probably be easy to get through. 25 cents. If I don't like it, I can donate it back to the library. Shoot. There we go. Got babies up there screaming. Oh my God, I'm a mess. The next one that I grabbed to make up the solid $3 that I was gonna spend at the library was another contemporary. It's called Stupid and Contagious. I don't really know what this is about, but cinnamon flavored milk is apparently the next big thing called Cinnamilk. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be like a silly contemporary that's really easy for me to read and enjoy. The reviews on the back are like good, saying that it's funny and smart and infectious, so hopefully it is actually smart and infectious. All right, one more 25-cent book that I found in their sale section, and that is Chocolat. I haven't seen the movie. Apparently it's really good. I wanted to read the book to see if it actually is gonna be worth my time to watch the movie. I can't believe I've never seen that. That movie came out so long ago. All right, the last two books that I have here cost $1 each. First one is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. It's supposed to be an epic love affair. I think this is YA. Ooh, Marguerite's father is murdered. Paul, her parents' enigmatic star student. I think that Marguerite's gonna fall in love with Paul, probably, even though there's a guy named Theo mentioned on here, but we'll see what happens. This was $1. Should be fun. All right, so we got All the Major Constellations by Pratima Krant. This is about a boy named Andrew who is finishing high school and going off to college, but gets into an accident and his life is just like adrift. He's obsessed with this girl named Laura and turns to Christianity. I'm excited to see what this has in store. So yeah, I need to count how many books I just added to my collection. All right, we got 23 books in this haul. 23 books to add to my collection, 23 books to try to cram onto these shelves because yeah, I like to make it really difficult for me to get things off my shelves. So that's it. Everything that you need to know about me, where to find me on the interwebs, is down in the description box below. Twitter, Instagram, blog, maybe Goodreads, I don't know. I'm on there sometimes. Feel free to follow or add me as a friend. Otherwise, I'm going to itch my nose really aggressively in front of this camera. I'm gonna go and cram these books onto my shelves now. Bye. First, I found Eli Wiesel, A Mad Desire to Dance, which was a really, oh boy, this cat.